What is up, everyone? So today I want to talk about Bitcoin and what I think is going to happen to Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is trading around, I think last time I checked, it was about 8,200, and it's fluctuated quite a bit last week. I think dipping all the way down to 7,500. It rebounded up to around 11,000, and now it's back down to 8,200. So yeah, I just kind of want to go over where I think Bitcoin is heading. And until recently, I've really stayed away from Bitcoin. You know, they always say don't invest in what you don't know, and I don't really know that much about Bitcoin. But until the last week or two, I've stayed away from it. But I'm actually looking at entering a short position in a Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why I'm looking at shorting Bitcoin. So I'm going to show you two charts. And usually, I don't go off charts too much or try to rely on charts too much, but the similarities in these two charts is pretty striking. So let's go ahead and look at these charts. So the chart on the left is a chart that I found, and it does a pretty good job of really showing what a typical bubble looks like. Um, so as you can see, starting out you have hope, optimism, belief, and then finally you have euphoria. And the reason why I wanted to point these two charts out, and the first one specifically, is because it's really striking how similar these are, um, down to a T. With Bitcoin on the right, I took that screenshot a couple days ago, so that was when it was 9,200. But as you can see, really just the chart pattern of both these are so similar. With Bitcoin on the right, you have the hope, optimism, belief, and then euphoria when it hits 19,000. The chart of Bitcoin on the right, you have all the signs of a bubble. You have optimism, belief, thrill. You have euphoria at 19,000, and then you see it kind of pull back a little bit and kind of rebuild here at right around 17,000. And as on the chart on the left, that's complacency. And it doesn't always work out like exactly like the chart on the left, but I just thought it was pretty crazy how similar the charts actually are. And then you have denial, panic, and then it just tanks all the way down. And I see this same thing happening to Bitcoin. Right now, like I said, it's trading around 8,200. Um, whatever you, like, I would not recommend buying this at all. I'm not saying go out and short it like I am, but I would definitely not touch this with a 10-foot pole as far as going long. I've stayed away from it since it really came out, and I've definitely regretted not, buying when it was what 1,000 below that. Um, but since then, I've really stayed away from it. I never really believed in it, and I really think that this is going to come crashing down. Um, I see this going all the way back to, down to 2,000, whatever. I'm not a big believer in Bitcoin, and I think blockchain tech has a future, but I don't think Bitcoin itself really has any value. That's just my opinion. I'm going to show you another chart here that compares bubbles. And this is a chart that I found of all the historic bubbles that we've had in the last century, even longer than that. So as you can see, we have S&P 500 today. We have Japanese stocks, tech bubble, that's in the light blue. And then you have Tulip Mania. So yeah, if you don't know what Tulip Mania is, it was actually was thought to be the first real bubble in really history. And it was during the Dutch Golden Age, during which contract prices for some bulbs introduced as like fashionable tulips reached very high levels, as you can see, and they dramatically collapsed shortly thereafter. And yeah, like I said, it was considered the first speculative bubble in history, and that was back in around 1637. So I'm sure you're thinking, what does tulips have to do with Bitcoin? But I'm sure 100 years from now, people are probably going to look back and be like, what the fuck were people thinking, buying into a piece of Bitcoin that doesn't exist. It's somewhere out there, La La Land. I don't know. It's a Fugazi. I don't know what the fuck it is.
It's all a fugazi. You know what a fugazi is?
Oh, Fugazi. It's fake.
Yeah, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to go over why I think, Bitcoin is such a big bubble and why I think it's just starting to burst. You saw it peak around 19,000. Now it's trading at around 8,000 per Bitcoin. And I think this is just starting. I think it's going to go all the way back down to, say, like 2,000, 1,000 per Bitcoin. I think this is really just the start of it. And I would stay as far away from Bitcoin as you can. Do not buy. I'm looking at shorting it, but the only way to short, you have to be able to trade futures and basically short sell futures contract. And that's actually not something that's very easy to do. It took me 2 weeks to get approved for futures trading and another week to get approved for Bitcoin to trade Bitcoin. So it's not something that you can easily short. And I mean, another thing that I want to add real quick is, you have people taking out mortgages to buy Bitcoin. That's something that you heard about, a month ago when Bitcoin was just tearing through new levels, going, from 5,000 to 19,000 within the span of like a month or two. When you see hysteria like that, that's when it's never going to last. When you see people taking out mortgages, just throwing everything that they have into Bitcoin. And I feel bad for them because, this is not going to end well. People that threw their life savings into Bitcoin, this is going to really scar them for life. And I hope this doesn't, scar them from investing in other assets like stocks, things like that. But yeah, I do not see this ending well for anyone. If you're short, I think you're going to do pretty well. But if you threw your life savings into it, I wish you luck. Who knows? Maybe it does go to back to 20,000. Maybe it goes to 100,000. Maybe it goes to 1 million. Who knows? Maybe this is the currency of the future. But I really don't see it. I think this is a huge bubble and mass hysteria. So I just want to make a quick video and kind of go over why I think this is a bubble and why I think this is just starting to burst. So that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.